I am back with another weekly What Sold video. If you want to see what sold this week, stay tuned. Let me set the scene. We hustle hard, second green, living out the dream. From clothes and kicks, we got that vintage flair. You name it, we got it. All the styles you want to wear. Started small, now we roll. This video is a weekly What Sold video where I share with you my hits and my misses. If you are new here, hello friends. I am Stephanie with Three Queens Resell. I am a full-time reseller and what's shaking. If you are a reseller bestie, thanks for joining and being a loyal supporter of the channel. And if you are new, as always, welcome. Be sure to hit subscribe to learn more about reselling and follow me on my reselling journey so you can see all the mistakes that I make and you don't have to worry about it. So thanks for joining again, friends. Just a quick overview. This is a what sold, and there have been so many ups and downs this month. Still reselling full-time as one of my full-time streams of income, but with my UGC content creation and working on YouTube and traveling, it is definitely a lot going on here in the Three Queens Queendom. So I'm going to share with you what sold the week of the last week of February into March, and I've got a new format for my what solds. So instead of sharing you everything that has sold in the week, because friends, I sold 60 items this week, and each week has gotten more and more. And that gets long and tedious, and you don't really want to know what sold for $2. So I'm going to share with you some of the hits and misses in several categories. So stay tuned throughout, and be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content, and leave me a comment down below so that YouTube knows that you like it, and I'll make more. So if you are new here, I do sell on Poshmark, eBay, Depop, and Mercari. And so I'm going to give you my tips and tricks for being successful and making sales on those platforms, as well as what are some trending things and some things that I've noticed this past week. So if that sounds good to you, thumbs up. Don't forget, YouTube likes that, and so do I, and let's get into it. So the first section of our what sold video are going to be the hits. So these are the top sellers of the week, and I'm just going to go through them, talk a little bit about how these brands have performed for me in the past, and just the details on the item. So first of all, starting off on February 23rd, which was Sunday, we had these Johnston Murphy knee-high boots, brown size 6 sale. So Johnston and Murphy is honestly a men's brand. I didn't even know they sold women's items, but these boots were really nice. Mid-calf, higher leather boots. And so I thought when I picked them up at the bins that they would sell quickly. And so they've actually been listed 749 days before they ended up selling on Depop. They sold for $60, and after the processing fee of $2.93, the Depop of $6, since this was an older item, it still had the Depop fee on it. My earnings ended up being $51.07 for those. And like I said, I had those for over 700 days. Now, like I said, Johnston Murphy, probably what kind of delayed them in selling is that Johnston Murphy is predominantly a male brand. And so that's why I think that they took longer to sell. So I've had, in my course of having List Perfectly the last 5 years, where I started documenting all of my inventory. And if you are not signed up for List Perfectly, or you're looking for a way to manage your inventory, let me suggest List Perfectly. I will link a video up above showing how I use it. But I feel like it is essential to my reselling business, and it's very similar to Vendoo. So if you're using Vendoo, you don't need List Perfectly because you don't need them both. But if you don't have any service, check out List Perfectly. You can use my code to get a discount off your first month. But I use that to track all my inventory, and that's how I got these stats. But I've had 8
Johnston Murphy items listed. Right now, we have 6 that have sold and 2 that are still active. And of all of the 8 items that we have listed, this was the only female product. And so maybe that is why. So maybe moving forward, not picking up, because my sell through rate for Johnston and Murphy products, I've only ever had 8 listed, so I don't find it that often. But 6 out of 8 selling is really good. Even these women's boots finally sold. So it is a trustworthy brand to pick up reselling. Um, but I would stick to the men's items because they're going to sell a lot quicker than the female, even though this ended up selling for over $50. Next up is one of my bread and butter brands, Chico's, and this is a repeat buyer, and I did not write her name down, but if I think about it, I will add it to the screen. But thank you so much for being a repeat buyer. This was the Chico's faux fur hooded runner cardigan, and I did pick this up at the Goodwill outlet. And friends, just because something comes from the Goodwill outlet doesn't mean that you should give it away. You can certainly have whatever your business works for your business practices, because I do have things that I pick up just at the bins to flip for a few bucks. But this was a piece worthy of the price. It was an excellent condition and just a beautiful, thick hooded cardigan. And this sold within 10 days of listing. That's how you know how that it was special. Um, Excuse me. So the order total, this was an eBay sale, was $40.93. The sales tax was $268. The transaction fee was $767. The shipping label was $625, and my earnings were $24.35. And Chico's, friends, like I said, it's a bread and butter for me. We have had in our closet come through our business 168 Chico's items. 95 have sold, and we still have 73 listed. And so what I'm learning about Chico's is that I want to do the larger sizes and the more statement pieces. I do tend to find a lot of basics in the bins, and I do have a lot of basics listed. So what I'm doing to move those items out of my closet is lowering the price. So if it's a smaller size or like a basic knit top, I might still pick those up, but I'm going to look for that $10 to $15 quick flip as opposed to listing it for more and waiting for it to sell like for years and years and years, because I've just noticed by dissecting the brand that it's more of these statement pieces that I want to pick up and that command the most money. Another quick flip for me was this Marine Layer Grateful Dead tie-dye band tee, size extra large. When I saw it in the bins, I knew that it was going to flip quickly, and it flipped within 11 days of listing. The order total for this was $38.36. The sales tax was $192. The transaction fee was $719. The shipping label was $441, and my earnings were $24.84. Now, Marine Layer is a bolo for me. In my time as a reseller, I've only had 5 pieces, and 4 of them have sold, and I still have one available, but I actually just listed that one a few days ago. And so whenever I have an opportunity to get this piece, I do get it and I list it because it does always flip for me. Like I said, in 6 years, I've found it 5 times, and 2 of them have been in the past month. So it's not something that I see a lot of, but when I do, I always snatch it up. I absolutely have a love-hate relationship with this next brand. Torrid gives me fits. I have not been able to really kind of nail down where I'm successful at Torrid and where I'm not. So that's why I'm taking time to deep dive into brand specifically and see which items in the brand are worth picking up and which I need to leave behind. These Torrid bombshell skinny denim jeans size 22 have been listed since May 1st of 24, so 299 days. And so of course I want to start identifying things that can move quickly. Since I do buy things off season, I know that that has been a factor in why things sit longer, because I might have, picked these up at the end of denim season, which I feel like we're at the end of denim season. I don't sell a lot of denim moving into spring and summer, and then they sat and sat and sat. So I'm trying to be more cognizant of that in my sourcing, just the seasonality of items. But since I do source at the Goodwill outlet, it's very much like I need to take when I can find it, because I might not see it again when it is in season. So there is that factor to play into it. These sold for $26 on Mercari, and after the $3.42 in fees, I made $22.58. So Torrid is it's definitely the most popular brand that I've sourced in this video, with 207 listings over the last 6 years of Torrid items. And we have sold 136 Torrid pieces and still have 69 active. So it's just a matter of me going down through those, what's still active, looking at those for worse versus what has sold. And maybe it's I don't need to pick up Torrid tops anymore. I do find a lot of Torrid tops, and if I do, maybe it's like the Chicos. I know that they're not going to sell for over 20 bucks. Maybe those are in the $10 to $15 price range, and if I can get them at the bins and flip them quick, pick those up. But I'm working on researching that and kind of identifying which pieces move the quickest. And like I said, Torrid pricing is all over the place. So I would focus on the more substantial pieces and definitely look at comps before picking up anything in the brand. My next great sale of the week was this Madewell Clara plaid maxi dress, size extra large. It might have been new at tags. I don't remember. We'll see in the photos if it was. But I do think I picked this up at a consignment shop for about $4. It sold for $34 on Poshmark, and after the $6.80 in fees, I was left with $27.20. It had been listed 31 days. So with Madewell, I like to pick up the larger sizes. And I know you guys hear me say that all the time about brands, but I do notice that in those preppier like mall brands, the larger sizes and plus size is do better for me. When I look at my stats on Madewell, we've had 77 listings for Madewell, and we've sold 44 and 44, and we still have 32 active. So we're like at a 60% sell-through rate, which lets me know I might have some pieces priced too high, because it will sell. So I'm going to go through those ones that are still active, check the pricing, and also check the sizing, because if it's an XX small or a small, those brands do generally sit for me. So I need to drop the price and kind of, make some judgment calls, because like I said, we want to focus on moving items and identifying why items might not be moving. And so with that sell-through rate being just like right at that like 60%, I want to get that other 40% moving, because Madewell is a good brand and it is expensive. You're still watching and you have not subscribed yet. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that like button, because YouTube likes that. It's a way to support my channel and other reselling channels just like mine. Let's grow here together on YouTube, and hit that like button. So next up is the brand Hoopla, and I don't really know anything about it. I tried to research it and I couldn't really even find much on the actual sweater that I had listed. I did put vintage because what I did research let me know, and I saw another listing almost identical to my sweater, and they had vintage, so that's where I got that from. But this had been listed since June 28th of 24, so it was bought in the summer and listed in the summer. So it sat for 243 days. It eventually sold for $31. I did get lots of low balls on this sweater, but I did realize that it was somewhat special even though it's just acrylic. After the $6.20 in fees, I made $24.80 off of that. So, like I said, I've only had one listed in 6 years, and that one sold. So I definitely would pick it up in at the bins again, and maybe I can continue to research that and learn some more about it. So the last big sale that I'm going to share with you for this week are these Boggs men's classic boot size 12. They were listed 10 days and we got a lot of low balls for them. They sold on eBay. Um, Order total was $63.30. Sales tax was $3. The transaction fee $11.61. Shipping label $9, and our earnings $39.69. Those were a bins pickup. They were very dirty. I had to hose them down, spray them down, scrub them up, but they sold quickly. And when I went and looked at our bogs, I have some interesting data that I noticed. I had 4 pair of bogs that I've ever listed, and 3 of them have sold. I have 1 that has not sold. So the 3 that have sold have all been black. 2 boys pairs, and this was a men's pair. The pair that has not sold is a pink pair of girls bogs. And so I am going to go out on a limb and say that this is more of a men's item and then or a boy's item, and that if you are buying something for a female or a girl, they're going to want it to be in better condition, because the black ones cleaned up really nice, but the pink ones, they definitely still look used, and I have them at a cheaper price point because I wasn't able to get the dirt and mud out of them, the stains out, as well as the black, and so they do show more signs of wear. So it is my inferencing, my educated guessing, that if you're going to pick up the bogs, I would go with a different color, and the darker colors that aren't going to show the dirt as well. Probably even the boys and men's. And if you are going to get those like girly colors, make sure they're in nearly perfect condition. Because girls and moms of girls, we're just picky about stuff. My girls do not want to wear someone's old dirty boots, and I should have thought about that when I was picking those up. But we got them now. Maybe I'll put them on auction on eBay. Let me know if you need a pair of girls' bogs, because I got you. So now that I've shared with you some of my top sales for the week, let's talk about some things that were surprising to me. So on Friday, February 28th, I sold 13 items, 2 different bundles. One was a 6-piece bundle, and the woman put together a bundle of the 6 items, and there were like 10 items or 8 items, and before I sell a bundle of items, we double check to make sure we can locate all of the items before we accept an offer, because last month I had a bundle of like 23 items, and then it was just a mess because I had to cancel something. It was a mess because I didn't have all the items. So I was like, we are in the midst of an inventory overhaul. My husband has already gone through List Perfectly and made sure that everything on List Perfectly is listed on Poshmark and eBay. Those are 2 big heavy hitters. And now he's now put everything that is on List Perfectly on a spreadsheet, and he has sorted that spreadsheet by box. So we know exactly what is in box A, what's in box B, C, exactly what 10 items are in that box. And so he is going through each box now and double checking to make sure that the items that are supposed to be in that box are in that box. And if there are items that are in that box, he's pulling them out and they are not listed on List Perfectly, or seeing if they're listed on List Perfectly. If they are, then we are relisting them, making sure they're on eBay and Poshmark, because they're not. They're just in a box, but they're not on eBay or Poshmark. And so, which are our two biggest platforms. That's why we're focusing on making sure that they're listed at least in those two places. And if they're not listed there, or on list perfectly, we're reshooting it like it's a new listing. So as a result of this project that he's working on, I have slowed down sourcing because we have things in this house that need to be listed, and I don't want to keep bogging him down by bringing in new things while he's doing this project. So I've slowed down. I only went to the bins once this week because we've slowed down and bringing in stuff because he's finding so many things that are not listed. I don't know why, friends. If you can tell me if this happens to you, like I felt like I had a good hold on our inventory, but there have been many, many things that, probably over, I think I counted over 40 pairs of shoes that were not listed anywhere. And all this time, some of those shoes, I have a pair of calf hair Prada loafers that I know I've had for 2 years, and they weren't listed anywhere. I know they were listed at one point, but I don't know what happened. So I think sometimes when the platforms do system upgrades, you lose some listings. And so I'm going to start really like focusing on that, because yes, when you have over 3,000 items, and we are going to work on downsizing the number of items going forward, but right now this is where we are. And I just want to make sure everything is listed. And so with this bundle, I went through and I double checked that everything was listed. The things that weren't, I took out of the bundle. And then she resent an offer, and it was like about 26% off the asking price. So I accepted it. And so the 6 items went for $95. After the $19 in fees, $76. And what I realized about myself is that if I'm willing to let things go at live auctions for $6 and $7, especially if they're all bins pickups and I've had them longer than a year, it's okay. Go ahead and make some money so I can reinvest. And I'm getting better and better each month with sourcing and sell-through rate. And so I want to get to a place in our reselling business where we don't have large numbers of items that have sat for a year, 2 years, things like that. Then the same thing, we had a 4-piece bundle. It sold for $45 after the $9 in fees. We had 36 items to sell, and I'll pop photos of both of those, what sold in both of those bundles on the screen. I do not have a bundle discount on my store. Let me know if you do and how much it is. But because really, some people could put some things in a bundle that I don't want to let go for 30% off right away. And so that's why in the past, when I did have a bundle discount, it would show people what the bundle discount was, and then they still wanted another 20% off of that. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. So I just took it off that's my reasoning for not having one. But let me know what you do as far as bundles on Poshmark. I don't really have as many bundles on the other platforms. I do have quite a few repeat buyers on eBay, but not a whole lot of bundles. So that was something that I've kind of like been surprised by. Quick flips. This week quick flips were definitely let me go back. The Grateful Dead, which I've already showed you, and the Chicos, which I've already showed you. This blue salt knit, I'm going to highlight that because I'll forget. This blue salt knit sweater, I had 2 pieces. I've only ever had 2 pieces of the blue salt, and they both flipped within 2 weeks of listing. Actually, within like 20 days of listing, a week of each other. So blue salt, I'll pop that item, that tag up there. That is another, be on the lookout. But those are my like surprises for the week. So my next section is the oh no, don't do it, don't buy it section. And I was kind of thinking about this when I was looking at my numbers. And I am going to say soft surroundings. It used to be I got a caveat. Soft surroundings if it is a basic or a small size. I would only pick up soft surroundings if it is an a large or higher, and that it was special, heavily embroidered, heavily embellished, almost Johnny was vibes. Just the plain knit pieces don't sell that well or sit. Now, if I get it at the Goodwill bins and it is a embellished, a plain dress, like dress or jacket, I would go ahead and pick that up because it's more substantial. But if it's just a knit top, those things just sit and sit and sit for me. I did have a soft surrounding blouse sell only for $9. After the $2.95 in fees, I made $6.05. So that's why I say soft surroundings, because that is a brand that continues to kind of be a little disappointing. Let me see. Everything else, um, I will say this. I picked up last spring a Doe and Ray palette, and I'm gonna have to own this. I have not worked as hard as selling that stuff as I should have. I picked it up to do live auctions, and then um, I didn't do live auctions consistently like I was supposed to sell that stuff. So as a result, I'm at a year and I still have more than half of the palette to sell. It's all like the palette is paid off now, but I still have all of the inventory. And so I am doing my Doe and Ray auctions on Poshmark or whatnot. 12:30 daily on Poshmark or on whatnot, 1:30 daily on Poshmark, um, to move some of those pieces, and they're listed everywhere. But that is not. I'm not gonna put that on the brand. I'm gonna own that myself because I have not been aggressive or even consistent in live auctions or moving those pieces. And honestly, one of my projects is to get that stuff in order because I don't even know how many of each piece I have and if it's reflected on the different platforms and if it's all listed correctly. And so that's just not me taking care of my business the way that I need to. And going through this process, I've recognized that. And so you can expect to see some improvement in that in the coming month. Hey, bestie, if you like my content, I appreciate it and I make it just for you. Go ahead and hit that like button and let YouTube know that you appreciate all of the hard work that I put in creating these videos. Just hit that like button and subscribe for more reseller content. So I am going to close out this video with my numbers for the week, and I will put a chart up just so that you guys can see as I'm talking. And these are my numbers after fees and discounts and shipping and all of that. This is what goes into my pocket. And so for Sunday, we had $114.44, 7 sales. So an average sale price of $16.34. On Monday, we had $161.44 for 10 sales, an average sale price of $16.14. On Tuesday, the lowest day of the week by far, 2609, we had 3 sales, an average sale price of $8.70. On Wednesday, we sold $136.97. We had 10 sales, an average sale price of $13.70. Then on Thursday, we had a day of 150.62 for 17 sales. We did run closet clear out or 30% off offers the Wednesday before. So that attributed to a lot of those sales on Wednesday and Thursday. Our average sale price on Thursday was $8.86. Then on Friday, We did do closet clear out. We had $183.74 in sales for 13 items, an average sale price of $14.10, and for the week we had a total of $773.30 for 60 items out the door, and our average sale price for the week was $12.89. So those are my numbers for the week. Thank you guys so much for joining. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. It supports my channel and it's going to send more reseller content to you. So make sure you do that. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.
Queen, we sell, let me set the scene. We hustle hard, second green, living out the dream. From clothes and kicks, we got